It's kind of like the Mad Magazine guy. What? Me worry?
If you think the same thing, you're going to get the same thing. I used to really love worry. I used to just kind of like indulge in it and just like sit there and be like, oh my God, it's all going to fall apart. But
That's not really healthy. And I know that now. I didn't always know that, but no, it's not really healthy at all. It's just like a trap for setting yourself up for potential fails, for failure, because you're spending all your energy creating a make believe future that may or may not happen.
so what's the thing with worry? The thing with worry is that you're actually playing God. You're pretending to be God. So what makes me say this? Why am I saying this? What makes me say this is if I pray, then I'm asking for the intercession of God. So I'm asking for God to change things. But if I'm praying and asking for God to change things, for God to intercede, then why am I locked in fear? Because essentially, fear is worry, and worry is rooted in fear. So what was going on is that I was working my day job, and I started to really kind of focus on and create the rest of the month in my mind, which I found was not good. So to backtrack a little bit, in 2021, I started to really kind of focus on mindset. And so I changed, I don't know if I did a 180, but my mindset's totally different. But that said, still, even with all the changes that I've made in, some of my behavior and my attitudes, my default still is negative. So what do I mean by negative? I mean that just my experience is, if you look at most of the entertainment, if you look at most of the shows you watch, if you think about and really get deep about most of the conversations or even what you connect with in society, most of it's negative, if you get really honest.
We kind of just look at time and sort of like waste it, but that's a whole other conversation.
Like most of the things that we talk about are negative, most of the things that we focus on are negative. For example, I was, talking to a couple of people recently, and, I found myself like, I just listen. And, sometimes I say things if it's appropriate. But after a certain point, it's okay if I don't want to have the conversation anymore, to move on. And why do I do this? I do this as a new behavior because I'm trying to really train my mind to be more grateful, because I need more gratitude for whatever is happening right now. So, what happens usually with human beings? And with what I'm saying, I'm just talking more experience. I'm not going to quote any scriptures. What happens is, like, you'll say something negative, the other person says something negative, and then you guys get into this heated conversation. Now, what is the intention with this conversation? And these are some of the things that I've been looking at in the breakdown, or rather the breakthrough that I recently had. So, what is my intention? What am I doing? So, going back to my original premise of this conversation about worry, when I am projecting into the future that X, Y, and Z is going to happen, I'm being God. And I'm also really psychologically playing a tape based on the past. Now, yeah, there are consequences for certain actions that I've made, and there will always be consequences for actions that I make in the past. But when I ask for the intercession from God, and I'm continuing to ask for this intercession, then I have to be open for God to be God. Like, I can't play God and pray to God. So once again, I can't play God and pray to God. And I say that, I don't think I'm the only one that has tried that, where you're praying, but then you're just going to do what you've always done. So if you do what you've always done, you're always going to get the same results, in my experience up until now. So, yeah, in a situation where I have 200 shekels for the next 2 days, will I most likely run out of the shekels and be destitute? That's a possibility, but it really depends. Am I taking action? Am I depending on God? This all depends. So, what is it I'm talking about? I'm talking about that I want my mindset to default to gratitude. I want to keep going back to gratitude. And I want to look at the things that I have blessings, like 10 fingers, 10 toes. I can breathe, reasonably healthy. I'm alive. I can walk. I can see. These kinds of things are default gratitude. I can drive. My car runs right in this moment. I recently had an oil change. These kinds of things default to gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Excuse me. So if I have these 200 shekels and I'm running out of money, I take lots of actions. I let go of the results. I pray, take lots of actions. I pray. And I let God be God, and I let me be me. So I no longer believe that worry is normal. I now look at it as its cousin, fear. I see it exactly the same. I see it as a waste of time, like remorse or rehearsing the past or being locked in fantasy. I see it as even verging on sin. I even see it in that way, because I see that the time that I spend on worry is time that I could be devoting to supplication and prayer. I could be devoting this time towards action. I could be devoting this time to, once again, if I'm having a long day, to even more prayer than I'm used to. Potentially, maybe I need to stop and do some more journaling and then do some more praying and get back into some gratitude. So do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4:6. So this is Mark from sabcast.com. Thanks for your time. Later.